How fancy. How fancy are we
Ooh,
with our little...
very fancy.
I think it's extremely fancy. And Tim said, "I like the feel at the start of this, the Blades in the Dark sitcom. I smell a spinoff." Yeah, totally.
That's true. We don't have time for more games.
We want to play this game all the time.
We
And
want to play this game forever. Awesome.
So how long ago is this, Kristen? How many? Is this a couple years ago? Is this?
Yeah, I want to say. I mean, I think for this, Penance needs to have been with the Arcbenders for a little bit,
Yeah.
right? There has to be some sort of like we've worked together, a bunch. So let's say it was like 6 years ago. Ish.
Awesome. So I'm doing a little bit of heavier-handed. I'm doing a little bit of framing that normally you'd kind of let the players pick what they're doing, but I'm framing this for you like a starting situation because we're flashing back without a lot of context. So I'm going to just invent context rather than be like, well, you could do this, or you could do that, rather than us going through all those sort of things. And we're also going to off the rails with Penance and Grounder. Yeah, there we go, Joe. So you got a transport score of your own, which is to word has Jessica, the leader of the Arcbenders, has learned that there is out in the Lost District. There's an old manor that nobles an old manor, the King Claith Manor, held by Dustfall nobles that have sort of fallen in their time, and left behind in the King Claith Manor, there is rumored to be a sensorium. And sensorium is a crystalline orb suspended in electroplasm with a metal frame, which allows the whole to hear and see. And it requires a spirit crystal orb, which is very, very rare. Penance basically, not Penance, sorry. Jessica basically knows where the King Claith Manor is, and that there's supposed to be a sensorium in it, and that's about it because it's out in the Lost District. Lost District is the area of Dustfall that was abandoned some time ago, and some people still go out there. Foolish people still go out there and try to scavenge old artifacts and whatnot. And if anybody knew a sensorium was out there, they probably would have gotten it a long time ago. So this is a time-sensitive thing. She just learned it exists. And there's no way in hell the Arcbenders, as this fledgling crew, is going to be able to build one of these things or, get a spirit crystal on their own. Right. So this is a huge score. It's a huge deal to get this thing. So does that sound like a cool frame for this?
Yep. I love it.
Okay. Awesome. We're going to treat the engagement like you got a 4 or 5 risky result, and I'm just going to open up with the scene. So you and Flem, who is another member of the crew, are in a tiny, tiny little boat, and you're going right along the edge of the Mist River that goes up. That on the other side of it is eventually the Lost District, and there's an area of the wall because there's an electroplasmic barrier, but there's also like a physical wall, and there's an area of the wall that is crumbled, and so the only thing that's there that is keeping things out is the lightning barrier itself. Or so you've heard. You've been able to spy this from a distance,
right?
And you have these lightning batons, these sort of charges that are going to allow you to, if you can hotwire the towers, and allow you to sort of adjust the lightning field to give yourself the ability to kind of carry it with you. If you've ever used the pen tool in Adobe Photoshop, imagine adding 2 more points to a line, and then you can or 2 more points to a shape, and then you can just sort of drag it out. So you gotta hijack the tower. You gotta connect these batons, and then someone's got to carry them. And as long as you have them, you can like walk through the Deathlands, presumably because you're still protected by these.
Yeah.
By this lightning barrier. If you accidentally get too close, you cross the lines, you're gonna resort yourself, if you have to make weird turns, it's very perilous. But
Okay.
um,
So don't
I,
cross the streams.
don't
Is
cross
what
the streams.
I
Is what I'm
won't.
saying.
Okay.
Anyway, so you've got these, but like in the boat, Flem is rowing. You know that maybe 2 minutes behind you is Jessica and do you have another name for another crew member? I forgot to think of another name.
Do we let's go with Angelo.
Cool. Jessica and Angelo are behind you a few minutes back. And the idea is to keep it real low profile. So you're each in little
Mhm.
boats. And presumably you'll just come here and you'll just come here and start the hot wiring because you are, the expert in this field. As you arrive, though, you realize that what you could not spot from a distance is that there's actually two blue coats, or they look like blue coats. It's hard to really tell. They have billy clubs, they have long coats. It's pretty pitch black. The only time you see them is like the lightning arc flashes and they illuminate for a moment,
Mhm.
and you just see like just they have their hats on and just like dead eyes. Like there's just like it's just black because they're just out in the pitch black right now, and they're just standing there. And you would survey the whole spot. You found it, but there's these two blow coats on either side of the where the wall crumbles, and they seem to be patrolling the area, and that's where you need to go. What are you going to do?
Ooh. Do they see us yet?
No, they
Okay.
and they will because this is a commonly trafficked area. So even if they saw you, it would not immediately be suspicious. But if you lingered, it would be. Like if you just went by, this is lots of people come through the Mist River. It's no
Yeah.
big deal. It's not a problem where you are right now, but if you stick around too long, it would look suspicious. But at the moment, it does not look. Again, you sort of saw them in like flash of lightning with thunder, but they definitely seem
Right.
to be sort of staring straight ahead, and you're kind of off on their periphery right now.
Okay. I want to I want to keep going unless of course Jessica says otherwise. But I want to keep going and then
I
when
think
we get
she's in the boat behind you. You're kind of on lead.
Oh, that's right, I'm on lead.
Flem is what Jessica has like. I think that like when we flash back to the thing, Jessica's like, Penance has this. She knows those lighting towers inside and out. She's gonna hotwire them, and then when we get there, they're gonna be ready to go. She just has every confidence in you. You're gonna take care of this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I love
yeah.
this. I
So
love this because it's either a test. Yeah, I don't know if Penance knows that, but I imagine it's some sort
yeah,
of test for her. Okay.
and you know if Jessica gets here, it's gonna turn into a fight, which could be good, could be bad, but like
Yeah.
that's her tool set. Like she's gonna
Right.
she's gonna get no brawl if she makes it here, which you could totally allow, but like it starts the score off kind of noisy. You're still right outside Dustfall right now. You're not in the
Right.
Lost Oak yet.
Um Sorry, I'm just looking through my bombs over here.
Yeah.
I want to signal back to Jessica's
Sure.
boat. Um, Basically just that I see something that I've got it. So whatever our signals are,
Yeah. Do
I
you have
just
like a
send her.
lantern that you like use like Morse code with by little
Yeah, I think
flashes?
we
Yeah.
flash with it.
Cool. All right.
I like
And
that
and
I'm
they send
holding a
back the like
finger.
signal received
Cool.
thing. So yeah, no
Okay.
problems.
So then my plan is that we will get closer and then I think I want to use a flash bomb
Nice.
to distract, and then hopefully it'll cause some chaos, and then we can just make our way through without having to
Sounds
get
good.
into a fight.
Sounds good. So you're going to come up on boat. So they're on land, right?
Hmm.
You're going to come up on boat, get real close, drop a flash bomb, and then run past them so that they don't. By the time they can
Yes.
kind of come through.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. What so we're handling everything with fortune rolls.
Hmm.
What I could see basing this off of your tinker. I could see basing this off of your prowl. I could also see this like we just kind of say like what's the arcbender's ability to distract a bunch of blue kids, right? What kind of trait do you think
Yeah.
is appropriate here?
Um. Ooh, prowl is good.
I feel like this is proud, but we should add a die because you're employing these flash bombs. You're not just sneaking past. You're getting this.
Yeah.
You're getting this.
So 2 die?
I think so. That
Yeah.
sounds right. There's a complication with them that makes me less inclined to add one more. Like normally I'd be like, oh, and I'm gonna leave you help too. Let's make it 3. Technically, what I'm gonna really say is I think this was 3, and it's one less because of the nature of these blue coats that you're gonna find out in just a second.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
So yeah.
Summon roll, fortune roll 2. Oh, the notes section. Okay, I'm gonna leave that blank.
Ooh, look at that!
What is the best roll of this game?
Look at Penance nearly critting.
Oh, young Penance.
Awesome, I love it. Cool. So Flem is doing the oars, and
Mm-hmm.
he is he. Oh, question: does Penance have her mask on right now? This is 6 years ago. Do we see Penance's face? No.
She
Love
doesn't
it.
have her mask on.
Doesn't have her mask on.
Uh-uh.
Love it. Okay. So we see, and he just sort of barely, ever so slightly, you realize that he keeps rowing, but he keeps the oars from actually touching the water. So not only do you not make any noise, but also you're slowing down. But he's pretending to keep the motion going so that you just kind of slow down right as you get in front of him, and then you do you just throw the bomb on the ground and scramble past, or do you want to get off? What's it look like when you drop this flash bomb on them?
Yeah, I know that it's a good role, but because Penance is younger and this was when she was a little more trusting and I think she's a little more careless.
Yeah,
So there's not as much like finesse as she has in our
nice,
present day game. So I think that she kind of starts to get off the boat and then just like chucks it to see
nice.
if yeah.
And I think maybe a reason why she just chucks it so quickly, a justification for that, is that as soon as you get off the boat, bluecoats see you and they look at
Hmm.
you. And you thought that their eyes were black because it was so dark. No, their eyes are just black. There's just nothing there. Whatever those bluecoats are, they're not right. They're in
Yeah.
blue coat attire, but you can notice that like some of their skin looks pallid, and you see some stitching in various places, and their clothes are very tattered. And when they see you, they both, almost like the Dimmer sisters in unison, both just sort of like raise their billy clubs. Like they're not going to talk to you. They're not, and I think that may be part of the reason why you're like, whoosh, and so when
Yeah.
there's this big flash, they absolutely, they haven't seen anything bright in eons. And so they absolutely, more so than even living humans would be, they're quite stunned. And in that flash you can see a little more detail of their kind of graying skin,
Oh.
and of their sort of like rictus jaw. You see one of their jaws is like sewn together and locked in place, and just they're just dead black eyes, and the flash has them not quite reeling but just insensate,
Hmm.
for plenty long enough for you to get past them. Um, and and they kind of are like groping around blindly. And I think Phlegm it's enough time for Phlegm to to hop off as well. You might need another way back out, but for now, like
Yeah.
they're very incapacitated. And I think Flem just sort of curiosity, like out of just total curiosity because they can't tell, he just takes a really thin dagger and just like plunges it into one and pulls it out, and like it does not react at all. And he's like, he kind of
Oh.
nods, like I kind of figured. Like it
Yeah.
was just like a test. Like this shouldn't be a lethal blow, but it should certainly hurt. And he just kind of like
Yeah.
puts it in like right under, like under a seam in their coat where he can kind of make it through the fabric, and just kind of
Hmm.
pulls it in. And there's some like black ichor on. Maybe it's blood. You don't. It's hard to tell. It's dark. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But no
that's his
reaction
little,
from them.
yeah, zero reaction.
Does that roll I'm thinking yes, but you tell me. Does that mean that Jessica has time too?
Yeah,
Jessica
I
and
think so.
Angelo? Okay.
The 4 to 5 result was going to be they got cut off or something,
Okay.
or something bad happened. But
Yeah.
I think by the time, um, I think that by the time Jessica and Angela get there, um, I think Flem has. I think Flem has sort of tangled these. I think he's kind of like. Um, uh, I think he's severed a few important tendons and
Nice.
kind of disabled these guards in ways that doesn't seem necessarily permanent, but is long enough lasting that Jessica can get past.
Yeah.
Like they maybe don't care that they're missing tendons. They maybe kind of, but anywho, this is enough. You've done all the work to make his job really easy. He's just like, how does this go in? This is
Right. He's
this
just, yeah.
do you need your Achilles? I guess not,
Oh,
but
doesn't look like it.
seems like he moves slower. You're a little more floppy. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, these things would have been terrifying had you not completely overwhelmed their senses, but they seem, um,
I'll take it.
yeah. Anywho,
I'll take it. Oh, I do
so
want to make a point to say that Penance, um, like from an audience point of view, right? Seeing this flashback scene after seeing a few episodes of Penance in today's time in our regular
yeah,
game, um, that she like noticeably waits and like looks a little bit concerned and like waits for Jessica and Angelo. So
hmm
like today, right, Ankh and Penance are just doing their, it's like they look out for themselves first, but here we can see Penance is like waiting to make sure everyone's together and okay. So
nice. I think absolutely. I think there's a moment where you're up at the lightning tower itself. There's all the wiring going up to it and all the stuff, and you're at like the control box, and you're kind of like you're like obviously you still need to hotwire it, so you have work
yeah.
to do, but I think you're about to get in, and it's this thing where like, oh crap, I got to cross these wires, and I got to do all this stuff, and you got to figure it all out, and then like you get this hand on your shoulder, and it's this mixture of like a little bit of soft skin and a little bit of like metal spark, right? Material
Mm-hmm.
of like the knuckles that Jessica has, but it's this very like reassuring, like it's both like I got your back and also good job. Like it's totally like I'm here for you, and you can see that she's just kind of on lookout right now. She doesn't have anything to fight, but
Mm-hmm.
Angelo and Flem are kind of they're pulling out the batons, but you're the expert to like hook them all up. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to see a roll to see how
Yeah.
well this goes. I feel like Tinker is the right way to go.
Tinker.
And I'm gonna leave an extra
Yeah.
die because you were super prepared for this. You have support. Everyone else is helping you wire, but at the end of the day, you got to wire up these batons and like hope you have enough cabling and all this stuff. Like it's a
Yeah.
big deal of crossing these heavy duty uh, heavy duty wires. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say an extra die because, you know, the arc benders have some gear and
absolutely.
oof. Okay.
Oh well, I
Thank
mean
goodness for that extra die.
the die helped. Yeah. So you got a mixed result, and that's actually makes sense to me. I feel like having having these batons be like a smooth, like, oh yeah, we're in the Deathlands, no big deal. I think this is
Yeah.
a really unstable thing. I think that the consequences of this mixed result is that two people have to hold these batons at all times. Like
Hmm.
it's pretty much a full-time job to be doing this. Like you're not, and they're constantly like needing monitoring. Like they are just not stable in the sense that, I mean, I guess maybe actually they have stakes. You could stake them down, but like there's just a lot of maintenance that goes into like making sure they keep the charge, and you're dragging cables along behind you, and
Hmm.
you're yeah, it's real finicky. It's real touchy, and like you feel like this is you're hot wiring something, and you're hoping it doesn't none of your capacitors blow out, but it's real touch and go.
Yeah.
So it'll
Oh,
work for now.
I imagine Angelo's like looking around and he's getting like I feel like the camera closes in his hand, he's getting like a little shaky,
Yeah, I
you
think he's getting
know?
a little electrocuted, and there's
Ugh,
just kind of nothing to do for it.
Yeah.
Angelo is definitely the youngest member of your crew. He's a old Scove, not an old Scove. He's Scove,
Hmm.
Scovelander who came with lots of ideals about revolution, and I think Jessica
Mm.
kind of stoked those ideals. Like, yeah, we're totally going to overthrow the empire, and you know that like that is not. You are savvy enough to know that Jessica likes that his fervor and and his zealotry, but like
Hmm.
you're savvy enough to know that the Archbenders are a real long way from being revolutionaries. Like you definitely fight the man, but
Right.
it's like he Angelo probably won't stay with the Archbenders long, and it's not because Jessica's lying to him, but he has aspirations that are more
Yeah.
political than you do, and
Yeah.
so there's he's a little freaked out right now. This is not his bailiwick, but
Yeah.
he thinks it's for the cause, and so he's down with it.
So here he is. Yeah. And I like the idea too that Penance doesn't really think that Jessica's lying to him. I think Penance thinks that Jessica will find a way to try to help him. Like she just
Yeah,
fully believes in Jessica,
I
right?
think
Like,
I think you overheard Jessica saying. I think at this stage in Penance's life, you overheard Jessica recruiting Angelo, being like, "You're right. The empire is taken from you, and we're going to take back from them."
mhm,
And like with 100% sincerity. And there's no at this point in Penance's life, there's no doubt in that.
there's
And
no
you're
doubt.
you're literally doing that right now. You're going out and you're taking from the rich. You're taking from the Kincaid family. I mean, obviously they don't claim hold to this anymore, but like it's still their
Hmm.
lands. They just
Right.
can't get to them safely. But
Yeah.
anyway, so like this doesn't feel like it's the most revolutionary kind of act, but it feels in keeping with what she promised him.
Right. She's true to her word. We're
So
doing stuff right
so
now.
he's nervous, but she gives him a nod and he starts walking forward.
Okay.
And you notice as soon as he walks forward, he sinks a little bit, just a little bit, and then he
Uh-oh.
kind of stops for a second, and then he keeps going. And you and Jessica kind of have to be by nature together and in
Hmm.
between. Flem and Angela are on the outside, and you and Jessica are kind of on the inside, and they're a
Okay.
little ahead of you because they're keep arcing this. They're bending the arc of this lightning around you. And as soon as you step past like where the wall used to be, like this is an area where there used to be a wall and it just has crumbled, and you have to kind
Hmm.
of climb over it. It's not a clean break. You
Okay.
have to climb over it. But as soon as you climb over and you step in, you feel the same thing where you just kind of like sink into the ground a little bit. Like you step on the ground where you think it's going to be, and it just kind of settles like
Hmm.
an inch or two beneath you, and you realize it's just ash under your
Oh.
feet. And soon as you start walking, you notice it starts coming up into the air, right? Like it was unsettled for ages, and like you
Yeah.
start as you even as you're trying to move slow, you still disturb a little bit of it, and so there's some coughs as everybody's getting
Ash.
this ash, little bits of it in your lungs. It's not good. It's almost like if you had like a
Oh,
mask to cover yourself, like and filter this stuff out, it would be better.
that would be that would. Oh, Penance. Uh,
Oh, baby, it's getting black lung from.
getting already. She's so
Yeah, there's a
young.
few coughs and people kind of cover their mouths up with bandanas and things like that as you realize that it's going to be like this the whole way there. Like it's
Yeah,
just
I think Penance ties like a scarf or something so you can just see her eyes.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you make it out to Kinclaith Manor, which is thankfully not too far. Like you picked a spot that was relatively close. And as you're going, you finally realize what causes all of these like flashes of lightning. Like you're like, why does the lightning barrier? It's always going, so why does it sometimes spark? Well, now
Yeah.
from the other side, you can see it's these feral ghosts like charging at the barrier, like and they're all super phantasmagoric. They don't look like humans anymore. They're
Yeah.
like 8 arms and like 5 faces and just inhuman things. And they just like come charging at the barrier and they splat against it, and then the lightning sparks out against it, and the ghost is sort of disintegrated. Or in some cases, they're not disintegrated; they're just kind of like you see them frazzle, and they kind of get turned, invert their colors, all get inverted, and then they flee. But like you see, like the hungry dead are out here, and they know that there's life inside Dustfall, and they want it,
Yeah.
and they're hungry for it, and like, and it's like a fly zapper, right? That they're just like flying into this to the light,
Yeah.
and you're realizing like shit. You're walking along, and Angelo's like, "When are they going to see us?" Because you're just sort of extending this little bit of the lightning barrier out as you go.
Oh my gosh. Um, so Duskfall, I think when you're inside is pretty noisy, right? There's like you hear ghost sounds all the times, and you
Mhm.
hear just there's a city noise and everything. And out here I'm imagining that it is quieter, which means we can probably hear like the shrieking of these undead much more clearly.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is noise from the lightning arcing around you, so
Yes.
there's some ambient noise. It's not total quiet, although I think you can imagine that if you uh, didn't have these barriers, you'd probably be like devoured in a moment, but it
Right.
would be very quiet. Yeah, I think you hear shrieking, and again, it sounds. I think that like it starts as like a human sound, and it sort of turns into like a horse's baying. Like
Ooh.
it's like it trans. You're like, oh yeah, that sounds like oh no, that doesn't sound like a person anymore.
Yeah.
What is that? And there's definitely something going through the houses. There's definitely like you see kind of off in the distance some shimmering as like something in is kind of moving through the homes. I'm sure it won't make it to
It's fine.
Kinclave Manor.
No, it's fine. Why
So
even bring it up, Sean? It's fine.
nice.
um, is there anything? I'm assuming that the Arcbenders would have some sort of plan or knowledge of. Is there anything we need to do to try to stay hidden from all of these undead, or are we just hoping we're going to plow through and they can't get to us anyway, right? As long as we move correctly.
Um, I think I think um I think Phlegm is your is it Phlegm or is it Angelo? Just kind of trying to classify these characters. I don't think it's Jessica. I think the plan is Jessica with her. Yeah, I think the plan is Jessica with her Sparkcraft Electroplasm Ghost Bane fists, and I will say Angelo with the electroplasmic rounds he has in his rifle are
Mm-hmm.
your defenses against these ghosts. Well,
Okay.
and this lightning barrier you have, right? Like they
Exactly. Yes.
ostensibly can't get through this barrier,
Right.
but should one break through,
Right.
you don't have like necessarily any guarantee that it won't devour you or possess you or anything like that. But you do have some people that are theoretically capable of fighting a ghost. So yeah,
Okay.
sure, something like
Okay.
that. That
I
sound
like Yeah, I like the idea that it was like a 2-second conversation. Like this lightning barrier is going to protect us, but in case something gets through, we have Jessica, we have Angelo. But then being out here and seeing the undead is probably much more horrifying. So I think Penance is hoping that we'll go unnoticed.
yeah. I think that's a good. It's a good hope. So you make it to Kinclaith Manor,
Mhm.
and you see that there is this. And you see that there is this wall around it, and there's a wrought iron gate that's all it's rusted and faded, but you can still see the crest of the bird. You can't quite make out what kind of bird it is, but it's some noble looking bird that is halved. It's each half of it is on one side of the gate, and the gate is like the gate is closed right now, but it's not. There's nothing like it's the mechanisms are all rusted away. Like you can just push. You're sure you can just push through it, but you realize that at this point you're no longer making a straight line, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't really, without more of these batons, you can't really bend the arc into the courtyard, right? Like you can't get. You're gonna have to like go over the wall, like climb over the wall with these things, and like try to
Yeah.
make a straight beeline to the house, or you're gonna have to stop it out here and like run into the house from there. But what you see is there's lights on in the house. Not a lot. It's not fully illuminated, but you see a few lights, and they look like old gas lamp burners, which don't really exist in Dustfall anymore. Everything's been replaced by electroplasmic lights, but there is some
Yeah.
activity in there, or if not activity, there's some presence in there. It's
Right.
not. You would imagine everything out here would be totally abandoned. Most of the houses are, but when you get to the courtyard, you see a few lights in the house. What do you want to do?
Um, I don't know. Sorry, I was trying to think through how wonderfully wrong it could go either way, whether we try to climb over or whether we just like drop it and run. um, I'm gonna say that Penance suggests that we attempt to carry it over
Okay,
the fence.
you want to go all the way up to the
I
building?
want to go
Yeah,
all the way up to the building, especially seeing, like, I think she points out to Jessica that there's um, something going on in the house
yeah,
that is unexpected. And so we want to be as cautious as we can for as long as we
sure.
can, since now we don't know what we have to deal with once we're in
Yeah.
there.
You notice that Jessica was thinking the exact opposite, but that as soon as you like, she didn't say it, but you could tell that she was like, you could tell she was sizing up to go like right up to the gate and then like bust through from there, which would mean
Yeah.
leaving Glenmere. Like you could just tell in her like body language that she was thinking the opposite plan. And then when you say that, she goes, "Yeah, no, that's smarter. Give us we maintain these defenses as long as we can." Um, and And then she sort of looks at the wall like, shit, how are we going to get over this? And the only way that she can think of is like, the people carrying the batons can't really let go of them. Maybe they can hold on like with one arm and like pinch them between their arm and crawl up, but like you're gonna have to like hoist them up over this stone wall. And so
Yeah.
she's, I mean, being like the strongest person in the group, she is ready to like hoist one of them up, but like they kind of need to go in pairs so they don't accidentally cross the line. Like
Right.
they need to stay in pairs. So she's looking at you like, okay, we're gonna have to scramble over this wall. We're gonna have to like help lift Angelo and Flem up.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
think
I think
Penance can lift. Penance thinks that she can lift Angelo because he's younger. So I'm going
yeah,
to say he's like a little smaller, you know. And so I think Penance is like, I can do this. We don't. We
yeah,
don't know if Penance can do this.
yeah. And you can absolutely tell that Angelo is scared shitless right now because you're asking him not just to carry this like thing that could like electrocute him, like incinerate him, but now like trust that you're going to lift him up over the wall and he's going to maintain his balance and not fall over. And at any moment, he's holding this thing that like could
Yeah.
vaporize him. And you're just like, well, yeah, but also climb over a wall while you're doing that, while you're holding it with both hands. Like get your elbows on there, right? So it's just he's just like, oh my god, this thing, and he's holding it out as far as he possibly can, and it's still electrocuting him a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? Does this feel like a prowl kind of thing to you?
Oh
It generally
boy.
covers most physical movement, but like, what do you feel like? I definitely want to roll to see how this goes,
Oh,
right? Like
100%. Okay, I was looking at finesse, but I don't think that's more like stealing or misdirection. So I,
finesse could, it's finesse an item from someone's pocket, employ subtle misdirection or sleight of hand, handle a vehicle or amount.
eh. I mean, I have the same in finesse and prowl. I was more trying to go with narratively what made the most
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely. I mean, the other thing that you could do is like you have wreck as well. You could be like, "Fuck it, we're gonna take some time. I'm gonna take an axe. I'm gonna take like a pickaxe to these walls. Like it's gonna take some time and make a lot of noise, but you're out here. Who the fuck cares? Like you don't have to just like I said, climb over them, but like you can tell me screw that. I wanna put a
Ooh,
hole in them instead.
yeah. So I think that Penance goes over to Angelo and starts like like telling him how it's going to be okay. Like you're going to tuck it between your arm and then I'm going to put my hands like this and you're going to put your foot in my hands and I'm going to boost you up. And then as she's like explaining it to him, she realizes that like the odds are against them. Like it
Yeah.
is, but she doesn't want to back away from the plan that she already so confidently said was like the
Sure.
right plan. And so,
Maybe you could just put some like steppings. Like maybe you can just not wreck the whole wall, but like
yeah,
knock out some like stepping places for him. So you like
yeah,
hit it
I
with a
want to like
sledgehammer. So
knock
this,
part of it out. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I love it. I feel like wreck to get through a wall makes absolute sense.
I love it so much.
And I think you should get another die as well because like as soon as you're like let's punch our way through this problem, Jessica's like, why did you say so in the first place? And I think she just like one handed takes a sledgehammer and just like whack,
Yeah.
whack, whack because she there's no reason not to sort of employ the same plan.
Right.
Uh, cool. Yeah. Why
Okay.
don't you roll them bones?
2, right? 2 dice.
Yeah,
Total.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, yeah, because your wreck is one, and
1. Yep. Okay.
feels right. All right. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, the notes. Oh, 5.
Nice.
I'll take the
Second
5.
die. All right. It's very loud, and it
Yeah.
takes some time.
Okay.
And there's nobody out here, so who the fuck cares? Like you can be as loud as you want.
Yeah.
But as you're whacking away at this stuff, and Angelo and to a lesser extent Flem are very glad that they don't have to just like try and scale this wall without any help, right? And
Right.
they're just watching you because all they can really do is hold on to these batons.
Yeah.
So the camera's looking at you and you're whacking away and everything looks like it's great. Then the camera shifts over to that house a little ways and we see like the thing that was in the house like perk up, be like smells something, like wonders what it is,
Yeah.
and it starts making its way towards the disturbance,
Oh,
and it just it like we see it kind of like we see it come to a wall, and it like pauses for a moment as though it's trying to remember whether it can go through walls or not, and then it remembers that it can and just like pushes through.
Ooh.
Um, like a human shouldn't walk through walls, but it knows that it's not
Right.
anymore. But it took it a second.
Yeah, like it had forgotten.
Yeah, because it definitely came in the door. Like it definitely came in through the entranceway, but this time it just like goes through the wall of that building and starts making a beeline for you.
Okay.
It wants what you have. That
Oh boy.
delicious life. Okay, so you do it. You bang these big old holes in the wall to the point where they can kind of walk up it like a ladder, and you're more just bracing them, and you're helping them keep their balance, and you get up on top, and then they kind of just have to take a leap of faith and like hop down,
Yeah.
and they stumble, but they hold the batons out in front of them, and Flem gets a bad burn. He doesn't take it right. His arm like seizes up, and he like still holds it with one hand, and he's like, but Jessica can see that he can't keep going on, and so she offers to take his torch, and you see him sort of cradling the one arm. So she's holding one of them now. Unless you want to, but like he took the fall bad.
No, I keep thinking that I'm gonna have to take Angelo's at any time. So
Yeah.
I'll let Jessica.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because you were watching him, she was watching Flam.
Yeah.
They both jumped down. Angela's just a little more spry, a little bit more
Yeah.
able to take the fall fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get to the house, and I think we don't kind of know exactly why, but you get this feeling. There's like this warmth that comes from the house. There's warmth that like tells you like, not that this place has a lightning barrier. It clearly does not. But there's something, you see all of these. I think for a while you kind of come up to it and you're like, well, do we like cut a hole through the wall? Do we like go in a door and like bring the lightning barriers with us? But Flem with his bad arm like looks at the sigils on the walls and is just like, I think this place is warded. I think we're safe to go in there.
What
Um,
what makes you think it's warded?
and he points to these like various. If you look at the Leech's playbook, you have something called. Let's pull it up. Why can't I pull up Penance?
Oh, I have it opened. Is that why?
No, I just was clicking on
Oh,
the
okay.
wrong thing. It's entirely my fault. But there is this move called Ghost Ward. You know how to
Yeah.
reckon area with arcane substances and methods. So these are anathema or enticing to spirits, your choice. And he points up, and you see these. I will not be too visceral in my description. Hey, Break Frank. Yeah, you can absolutely play Blades One Scoundrel. I contend that you could play it with zero scoundrels if you wanted, but might be a lonely game. Um, you see these carvings in the wall, and they have that same bird emblem on them, but the feathers are broken, and there are these runes written in the feathers themselves, and there are human remains uh, that have been embedded in these things. It's
Nice.
pretty vile. They're all decayed. They're all so decayed and old that like nothing looks at all fresh. But Flem is fairly certain that this house is probably protected at least as well as like a spirit bane charm would work. Like maybe it's not going to keep a ghost out for sure, but it would. They would not be inclined to come into such a place, depending on how strong these wards are, depending on how many of them are broken over time
Hmm.
and faded. But they're all, yeah, and they're all these like stone carvings with, again, human bits added to them.
Yeah.
Um, they haven't been renewed in a long time. They would probably be much stronger if you renewed them. But unless you start carving up one of your crew members, you don't have any supplies to renew them with. You definitely did not bring human remains with you. I don't think. I mean,
Darn it.
unless you feel like that's the kind of crew Archbenders are. I don't feel like that's the kind of crew that you are.
Would it help if I said I was taking a heavy load? No,
I mean,
no,
it's
we didn't
totally up
bring
to you.
him.
You can be like,
No,
yeah, we totally have a
nope.
body.
No,
Uh,
I don't. No, I'm sure we have other things, but there's no way. I agree with you. There's no way Arcbenders have a body. That's just not this. That's not this
yeah,
crew.
it's not their jam.
Nope. Okay.
So Flem suggests that you leave the batons here, kind of duck underneath the field. Like maybe the people holding them lift them up high. You kind of duck underneath, and then they kind of stick. And then either they stick with them, and just two people go in, which is probably the safest, or you all sneak out, and then you have to figure out a way to get back under them again.
No, I think if Flem can like sit or lean against something and hold it, and then Jessica and I can go in. At least that's what I'm gonna suggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Flem can absolutely hold one that's in place, because what Jessica does is she like lifts like, well, yeah, she holds it up high, and he kind of grabs it, like wrestles his arm around it, takes his injured arm and holds it anyway, even though it hurts like hell, and kind of lifts it up, hoists it up for you both, and you kind of have to like, squeeze underneath,
Yeah.
and you get right at the doorstep, and then as soon as you squeeze underneath, he like rams it down on the ground and just kind of holds it with his good arm, and you
Cool.
can see his hair is like burning on the side, or like it like fries on the side. But he's able to do it, and you kind of slip
Okay.
out and you get onto the like porch of the building.
Okay.
And there's a little light hanging there, just kind of a little eerie glowing light on the porch. um, Maybe part of these wards, you don't know, but just
Yeah.
this lantern, really old style, rickety lantern, no electroplasm at all. And
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, and Jessica, I think, just sort of inherently like, she's like, who knows what's going to be on the inside. So it's just her nature to like take one for the team first. And so she just goes up to the door and like checks it first. Like she doesn't want, who knows what's going to be on the other side of it. And if it's something
Yeah.
scary, she wants to be there. So she opens the door, and it's just like, uh, I think there was like the lock was rusted. Like,
Roll credits.
Roll credits. Best of luck. And she just with her like Sparkcraft arm, you can see like the servos tense for a second, and she just like tears it and breaks open the lock and like pulls open the door.
Nice.
There was no picking this lock ever, you know. So she
Yeah.
just crushes it, and yeah, you go in. And these aren't like the big grandiose double doors, the front entrance. You kind of had to come in the side, but you're still in like the servants' quarters or something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, and just not the whole place is not fully lit. You kind of need your own lamps to be able to see in here, your own
Okay.
lanterns. But certainly there's definitely a room in the attic that you saw that was lit, and there's a few other places where there's these glowing lanterns.
Okay.
They look pretty fixed though. They're not. You'd have to pry them out of the fixtures to take them if you wanted them. So
Yeah, and I think that because of like the wards, and I don't think Penance wants to disturb a lot in this house.
yeah,
And so I don't think that, like, she was already thinking, okay, I'm not going to take a lantern. I don't know how it got lit out here. I don't know what lit it or where that thing is now, but I don't
yeah.
want to take
These
its
things should
stuff.
last. By the looks of them, they should last like a couple hours
Uh-huh.
on oil, and like unless somebody's tending to them, they've been out here for years.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
maybe since
unnerving.
maybe since
Maybe.
so. Yeah, what do? You're in the servants' quarters. How do you want to find the sensorium? Probably the best person that knew the most
Oh.
about it was Flem.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because he knew about the wards.
Yeah,
And
but you can
I'm
flash back to like having talked to him too. It's not like he's not accessible, but he's just not here right now.
no, if it's okay, I really love the idea that, I mean, this is younger Penance. And so I
Yeah,
really like the idea that she gets inside and she's like, oh shit, Flem might have known where this
yeah,
thing is. But she doesn't want to show Jessica that she's unsure.
yeah,
Oh. So I think she suggests that they head to the attic because that makes the most sense to her.
yeah. I love it. So it takes you some time to figure out how to get there. It's almost the house. It doesn't seem like it's a maze by any stretch, but there's definitely like this house has secret doors in it. Like
Mhm.
you just feel it. It's just the kind of thing that like rich fucking people do, right?
Of course.
And so it takes you a while. The attic is like third story, right? You get up to the second, you find the stairwell, you get up there, and everything is covered in this thin layer of dust that looks like it's way less than should have accumulated over all this time. Like this should be caked and stuff. And like it's like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of dust on everything, but it's not nearly enough. And there's no like signs of inhabitation. There's no bugs or rats or anything else that have made their way through it. And in fact, at one point you're going up the stairs to the second floor and you pass by a mirror and you see yourself. And I think that we see some like lightning flash and we get a little like skull inverted image of you for a moment, and then you look over and it's just you. Maybe there's
Yeah.
like a bit of a plague mask motif in the reflection for a second, but
Yeah.
you realize like this mirror should be, shouldn't be so,
Should be
uh,
tarnished, right?
should
It
be more
shouldn't.
tarnished, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been maintained in some way, magically, personally, who knows? But um, yeah, so you make your way up. The stairs creak a little bit
Oof.
as you're going up. Do you try to be really quiet, or you?
I think as soon as the stairs creak, Penance like freezes
Yeah,
and like
yeah. You
listens
both
for a
freeze for a
second.
moment. Yeah,
We don't hear anything.
you do you do you
Oh, we
hear something.
do.
Yeah, you hear um, some humming. Mm, or maybe it's music very soft.
Yeah.
You more feel than hear this music playing, and it's very like nursery rhyme sounding. It's like maybe don't say a word. It's obviously not that because this is Dustfall, but like
Right, right.
but it's just kind of like and it's and yeah, you can't. It doesn't seem to be in reaction. It was there the whole time. You just didn't notice it because you had never been quite that still. Like it didn't just start playing, but you just became aware of it.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
And
creepy.
yeah, It's fun.
As we climb up the stairs, unless something else happens, when we get to the top of the stairs, I'm gonna have Penance stop and listen again to hear if it sounds the same, louder, or fainter.
It's a little louder.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew it,
Getting
damn it.
closer.
Are there any paintings? I imagine that there's like
Oh yeah.
enormous paintings, right? Of like the people that used to live here because they were rich people.
Oh
So I
yeah.
imagine there's just huge
Totally.
paintings. Okay. And are
I
they in
think
good condition?
I think when you get to the second floor, there is this like big ballroom that you like come to. Like normally you think of that as like the first floor, but like the first floor was more like the servants' quarters on like this like you realize that you maybe entered like a house that was on a hill, and
Yeah.
the floor you were on was the lower end, the lower elevation, but there was probably another door on the other side that started on the second floor. So when you get
Hmm.
up to the second floor, it's actually the main entrance, and there's this big tall ballroom, and there's these hallways, and there's all of these paintings along the walls, of course, and most of them are fairly distressed over time.
Hmm.
One of them looks like it has been very well maintained, and it is of this young man with very, very delicate features. He has this silver rapier that is at his side, and these all white leather garments. He has white leather gloves. He has a
Hmm.
white leather like domino mask. He has long black hair. Very handsome. Very very like nobility in their highest regality state, and that painting looks like it's been very well um, taken care of. And now that you're on the like noble level, everything's in great shape. Like it's even better than it
Oh,
was before on the servants level. Like it's
okay.
clearly someone's been taking even better care of this space.
Right. Right. Okay. Ugh. Penance takes note of the portrait. She does not care for this, but
Yeah,
she's here for a reason. We're gonna go to the attic. We're gonna get this thing. We're gonna get out.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. If you care for it, or maybe just the camera catches it, there's a placard at the bottom of it, and it's Timothy Kinclaith.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like the idea that Penance walks past it and then the camera catches
Yeah,
it. So I don't
camera
think
catches
Penance
it.
saw it,
Nice.
but our audience will. Okay.
Yeah, we know Timothy Kinclaith is a character.
I'm gonna write that down. But he'll never come back, so it's fine.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Um, and yeah, Jessica is far more alert to threats, and she's trying to figure out what this is. And I think it takes you some time in the house. Um, I think it takes you some time in the house until you finally find like basically what you have to do is like get outside of the noble's very polished exterior and back into like the side doors, the servant quarters. I think
Hmm.
eventually Penance is like, or Jessica's like wrapping her fist along the wall, and eventually like finds like a hollow spot, and you realize it's not quite a secret door. It's just a door meant to look like the wall, so that
Yeah.
like you can push it and it opens back into servants' passages. And
Yep.
that's the old, like you're looking around, you're like, I can't see where the hell the attic is. This looks like it goes all the way to the ceiling, but when as soon as you get into the servants' quarters on the sides, the ceilings are much lower, and like that, you realize, oh, the attic is like off to the side, and
Yeah.
so, and it's to get in. It's like you pull down a there's like a hatch in the ceiling, and you open it up.
Hmm.
Penance pulls it down, and there's a ladder that comes down, and you're able to. And as soon as you open it up, though, you hear the music
I
playing.
knew it.
Yeah, it's definitely coming from the attic.
From the attic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who goes up first? Just out of curiosity.
Um, I'm looking for something specific. Okay, I was looking at the spirit lamp, but I'm not sure we'd have a spirit lamp with us.
You have a spirit lamp if you want. Sounds good.
Um,
What's a spirit lamp? What's it do?
Spirit lamp, an electroplasmic lamp with a focused beam that can repel ghosts with serious force. But it's a tier 5.
Oh, yeah, I
That
don't think
seems a
so.
little
Because you're
much.
doing this whole heist to get a
A
high tier
hundred percent.
thing.
Yep.
I don't feel like that's in your bailiwick. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was thinking maybe, and then I saw the level, and I was like, nah, we're 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Um, I think I think Jessica was gonna go up first, but then Penance was like, no, it's let me go up and take a look.
Yeah.
Um, because she wants to prove to Jessica that this
Yeah.
is not scary. This music is fine. It's no big deal. Um,
Can I make
so
a small revision
yeah.
to my statement? I think um let me find it. I think what oh, where is it? Why can't I find the icon for it? I think the figure has short black hair, not long black hair. They're still all in white. They have very delicate features.
Hmm.
They're not wearing the mask cover. We can see their face, and they look like, gosh darn it, why can't I find it? I want to do the big reveal. Oh, I can do it in Discord.
Okay.
Um, Sorry. Thanks everyone in chat for being uh, patient as Sean does this thing. They look like this. Is that okay with you?
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I am
Um,
not at all horrified. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. They look. This is Timothy Kinclaith.
Okay.
Um, and and yeah, so which, as we as the audience know, is also exactly what Penance's Hall looks like.
Yeah.
Cool. Make it up. You make your way up
Cool.
there. No problems. And as soon as you, oh, the other thing you notice as soon as you're getting up is a very strong perfume. There's a very strong like perfume, so strong that it seems like it's masking something else. Like it's like so like maybe the house had a little bit of the smell, a little rose water smell in it before, but now it's just like, oh wow, that's that's really strong. It's not quite
Yeah.
enough to like agitate you, but if you were sensitive to smells, it really would.
Yeah.
Um, and it's very strong. And you get up and you see the attic is in fact lit with one of these sort of these gas powered lamps or these oil powered lamps, and you see a, two figures. One of them is reclining, laying down in a chase lounge,
Hmm.
and has a blanket over them, and they're reposing, they're not moving at all, they look at rest. And another one that is this like like eight armed, eight legged mechanical contraption that looks like it's like you don't know how it could possibly get out of this attic. If it's what's been cleaning, like it must somehow find a way to get smaller because it's fucking monstrous.
Okay.
And you see it's tending to the person. And clearly, you have this mechanical automaton,
Yeah.
and it is like it is it is like like very delicately like brushing their hair and pulling the blanket up with another set of hands, and there's some part of them that's vibrating, this humming sound, they're like humming this vibration, this
Yeah.
like lullaby vibration, and they're um, dusting like without even paying attention to it, like they're like dusting cobwebs from overhead so that this person is comfortable and whatnot. And you see that there's like a little tray of food next to them, uneaten, and
Is it
yeah. And
fresh food or is it rotting
uh,
food?
at the do you want to know do you want to know what I think right now Penance can't tell.
Okay. Okay. Fair.
Yeah. And yeah, and so you've just like popped your head up, like you've just
Yeah.
sort of like gotten your head up, and you don't know if it's noticed you or not, because as soon as you pop your head up, like it seems to pause, and then it kind of goes back to it, and maybe it noticed you and it didn't register you as something to react
Like a
to.
danger. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it just paused because it's kind of herky jerky in its motion anyway. And of course, like Jessica's like right behind you, right? Like you're both kind of like you're on the ladder, but she's definitely like pressing her body against you because like
Yeah.
it's not sexual or anything like that.
Yeah.
it's just, she's like right there, and like, of course, because this thing is so like many armed articulated, its frame is like very minimal, and so you can totally see the sensorium like inside this thing. Like,
Okay.
this is what you came for.
Shit.
You can't take the whole thing. It's way too fucking big and complicated. But like inside it is the thing. Is the thing you need. And it's not like exposed, but its frame is so like, it's all like ribs and stuff like that. Like it's not meant to try and look. It's not meant to protect it. Like, it doesn't think that there's a threat to this thing. Like, it could
Right.
be damaged very easily. Taken out would be involved. You'd have to open it up, but you can totally see the spirit crystal inside there, and it's like pulsing with this like blue and purple energy that's vibrating and giving this creature life.
What does the
Yeah.
person on the couch look like?
You can't.
Really see.
It's intentionally shadowy in that corner, like as
Okay.
if as
Okay.
if as if the attendant doesn't want to disturb the rest of the person.
Gotcha.
Like like
Okay.
like like they've pulled up like a curtain so that the light doesn't cast on them, so that they can get their rest. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
What you gonna do?
I definitely want to go. I'm trying to decide if I want to. I was trying to decide if I wanted to like drop back down and like have a
Yeah.
quick chat with Jessica.
Yeah, if you like.
What's that thing? But the rusted lock plays on hard mode. So I
Yes, we
think
do.
I think even though we could easily drop down and Jessica could give me information, no. Penance is just gonna go all the way
Right.
in. She is trying to be quiet. Like, I
Okay.
feel like her thought is the only way forward is physically forward right
Yeah.
now.
Sure.
And so I think she's going to climb in and then kind of see if it notices her.
Would you want to make do you want to try either prowl or maybe survey, either one, to like get in there, or hunt, even like whatever you feel like is the right action, to like get
Yeah.
in there and like get close enough that you can really assess what's going on without before
I'd
it has the opportunity to react to you?
I'd love to get like I'd love to get in the attic and then back up if I can, like into some shadows
Mm-hmm.
to see if I can,
Your eyes
like,
can adjust and you can kind of make out
yes, and I can
details.
kind of see if it's gonna notice me, just kind of like give myself another moment to observe it.
Yeah.
Especially because I can't see who or what is laying on the couch or
Yeah.
on the chase lounge.
Yeah.
I think survey makes the most
I'd like to offer
sense.
you a devil's bargain here, which is that I think when you get up and you sort of step back, you realize that like the thinnest veil that's been pulled across the room to try and keep this person from being disturbed by the light makes it really difficult to see. And if you in fact get closer instead, you'll if you can kind of like, even if you go to the opposite side of the attendant, if you can like peek behind that veil, like it's going to put you much closer to its range. Like, it probably, those arms could probably reach like across the room if they needed to. But
Okay.
like, I think if you're willing to get closer, you'll have a better advantage. It'll of course be more at its mercy, but what do you think?
But yes,
Are
I
you
think
cool?
of course that's what we'll do.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will be 2, right? 2 dice.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right to you. I mean, also, if you feel like, whatchamacallit, if you feel like Jessica could help you in this in some way, then absolutely it could be another dive of her helping. What do you think?
Um
I think if you wanted to like distract
yeah.
it, Jessica could help you.
Yeah.
Like, she could totally make noise and like draw its attention. But if you wanted to absolutely not notice you, I don't know what she would do to help you. But I'm super open to it. Like, she absolutely.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking that like the theme of this right now for Penance is really trying to prove herself to Jessica, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a little bit like naive and a little bit like trusting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think she also is like, well, I don't know that she thinks that we're in any like serious danger yet because Jessica wouldn't put us in like serious danger, right? We have all these things to protect us along the way.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I want her to do this solo.
Okay. Sounds
All
good.
that to say, I'm turning down the die.
Okay.
I'm going with 2.
Yeah.
It worked out.
It worked out. So what it does is it just takes a really long time. Like I think Penance is moving at a speed that is. I think you're sliding your feet across the floorboards without lifting them up so
Yeah,
that
it's
they don't
like,
creak. I think
yeah.
maybe even to the point of like a little bit of oil and you're like putting it in like what might be a creaky like ground where you might see like a nail that's lifted up a little like really slow, like
Yeah.
ridiculously slow. And what that
Yes.
means is that Flem and Angelo were being attacked by below, right? Like that hungry thing has come for your
Oh no.
friends, right? So
Ah.
you're fine, but I think at some point you hear uh, at some point that is, right when you realize it's too late to back out, when you're sort of like trapped there, you hear sounds from
Oh.
below. And
Does anything in the room react to those sounds?
no, the room
Okay.
does not. The room does not care. The attendant does not seem to notice you or the sounds.
Okay.
Jessica, however, does. Jessica gets super like she looks at you because she's just watching you. She doesn't want to go
Right.
in because she's all bulky and loud. Like she's not stealth
Yeah.
is not her forte, and she's like ready to fight for you if it needs be. But then she hears that noise, and you can just see the like, oh crap, what do I do? I need to protect my team. But what does that mean? Does it mean protecting Penance, or does that mean protecting um, Angelo and I think what you hear that signals it is you hear a shot. You hear a shot and you know it has to be Angelo's
Oh, it
rifle.
has to
It,
be
it can't be
Angelo.
anything but Angelo's rifle. Like there's no guns out here.
A hundred
Nobody has a
percent.
gun. And like that's the thing you're like shit, and it makes you bolt upright, but you don't hit anything. You just like, and then the attendant doesn't care, but Jessica super does, and you can see she's really divided. Like she wants to protect you, but like she doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know how they're doing. So anyway, that's a fun thing,
So
but
I
you succeed. So I'm going to tell you all the things
okay.
you want to know.
Okay.
Before you decide what to do, let me give you the fruits of your labor.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I was getting ahead of myself.
all right, you see that there's you peel back the veil and you see the very well preserved but still very dead young man who clearly must be Timoth. Like he's
Yeah.
maybe a little older than the painting, but it's clearly Timoth. You don't know if he's been embalmed or if there's some other way that they've kept his body
Boy.
uh, preserved, but
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely dead, and he's definitely been dead for some time. And the food there is in fact like it looks fine and good. It doesn't look like it's rotted at all. And then like you realize like it looks like it's like carved from wood and painted. Um, like it has it's the facsimile of being all these things, but it's just not quite real. But the body
Yeah.
itself is very real, and
Okay.
the perfume that was overpowering everything is masking the smell of the body and its decay. At this point, maybe it's been dead. It's sort of desiccated. It probably doesn't actually smell as bad as it used to at some point, but nevertheless, the attendant seems to be attending to young Timoth with no reservations. In fact, I think at some point you see the attendant lunge towards you, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's seen me," and it doesn't even, or maybe it's seen you and it just doesn't care.
Right.
You can't tell
Right.
whether it notices you, but it like picks up his hand and it starts polishing his fingernails
Oh God.
and manicuring them and like tending to them like to the finest detail. And you
Yeah.
can see that they're trimmed. Fingernails grow after you die. These fingernails are perfectly trimmed and polished. Um, and
Okay.
young Timoth is no more and has been no more for it seems like a while. Like he did
Yeah.
not just die yesterday,
Right.
but he's hella dead.
Wow. So I want um first, right when we hear that the shot.
Sure, maybe that's right when you hear it. Like you're looking and then you hear the shot.
Okay, perfect. I want Penance to signal to Jessica, like, go ahead, like go help them. Now whether she does or not, I'll leave it up to you.
I
But
don't think she will. I think you're gonna
okay.
have to make like a sway or like a command roll or something like this. Like
Ooh,
I think like you have to like urge her like strongly. Like when you're like go, she's like she looks back like she wants to go, but she doesn't want to leave you. She's
yeah.
torn. I think we have to see if like you can. I want to know if you can get her to go. She won't
Okay.
go lightly when you just like when you just gesture at her go. She knows exactly what you mean, but
Right.
she's not about it. I think you need to be forceful.
Yeah. Command, right?
Command seems right to me.
Yeah.
And I'll give you +1 die just because, she really values you. Like you have a lot of impact on her.
So, question. So I have no rules question. I have no dots at command, which I think
Mhm.
means that normally you roll 2 dice, you take the lower of the two.
Right.
So how does that work with a fortune roll?
Same thing.
Okay.
You just
Okay.
yeah. Again, I'll give you
You put
+1 D
two
on
in.
this
Okay.
because so you roll 1 D instead of. But yeah, if you're rolling for I see what you're saying. How does it mechanically work? We just have to remember to take the lower of the two
You
dice.
roll the two and you just take the lower,
Oh no, actually, I
right?
think you can tell a fortune roll to roll 0 dice if you want to, and
Oh, okay. Okay. In this case, I'm going to roll one though.
yeah, yeah. Under fortune roll, one of the options is roll 0 dice, and then it will roll 2 and take the lower.
Cool.
All right, let's see how it
I don't
goes.
want to.
Come on, you got 1 die. You'll get a
A
6.
5.
All right,
It's a lot of fives. I'm hitting a
a
lot
lot
of
of
fives
fives,
over
a lot of mixed
here.
results. I think it works, but not as well as you would want it to.
Yeah.
Um, I think so there's two complications to this. One is she doesn't do it immediately.
Yeah.
Like every moment that she's waiting is a moment where Flem is basically not able to do anything because he's just holding the superpost, and Angelo
Right.
is trying to one-armed use his rifle, and it's bad news bears for them out there. Every
Yeah.
moment that you waste. And the other thing is that she doesn't go quietly. Like when she
Oh, that
does
makes so
decide
much
to
sense.
go, it's like you're like go. She's like, no. You're like go. She's like, no. She's like she's like I got
Yeah.
you. Like I'm watching you, and and uh and she and then when you finally say like no, I mean it. She's like and she just leaps down from the ladder, and there's this thud,
Thud.
and she crashes down, and you hear her running, choo, 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 and the attendant does notice that. Like the attendant
Yeah.
is like that was an unusual noise. It doesn't react violently, but it does sort of like it replaces a bunch of tools that it had previously that were all like a brush and little delicate things and suddenly
Oh
it's
boy.
a lantern that's like scanning that area and a like a snake like tendril that's kind of like going and like tapping on floorboards and sensing things out and like coiling around. It's definitely in like intruder alert mode, but it's not quite in like violence mode yet. It's just in
Right.
like, what was that? What do I need to do? Is it a rat? Is it a person? Is it a ghost? Is it, how do I need to defend my charge? Because I will
Yeah.
defend my charge clearly, indefinitely. So, and that kind of works in your favor. It's good and it's bad. One, it's way on alert now, but it's definitely not looking at you. It's definitely
Yeah.
not. It's like focused on Jessica's noise. It's not going after her, but it's like it's one little move away from like violence. It's gone from like attendant mode to sentry mode, and but not quite at murder mode.
Okay.
It's yeah. What do you want to do? It doesn't seem to vocalize besides that. Oh, and the humming stops.
Oh,
That was part of attendant mode. That was part of attendant mode.
yeah. Um,
You do now hear the humming was masking kind of a thrum. It's got like a machine noise that is just
interesting.
running.
Okay. Yeah, I think that as I'm looking through a list of things, I think that Penance is like mentally going through a list of like what she has with her.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the stuff that she has is not meant for machines. right? Like she's
Mhm.
usually dealing with humans and so or ghosts, but not a machine like this. Um I'm gonna say,
I mean, but you can certainly say if you like if it feels right, you can absolutely say you have tinkering tools, wrecking tools, demolition tool. Like
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that I have tinkering, um,
yeah, I mean
because I don't want to damage it. I
no,
want to see
that'd
if
be
I
nice.
can, yeah, I want to see first if I can find a way to shut it down. It's
Yeah,
my
find
first.
tinkering tools. A finely crafted set of tools for detailed mechanist work. A jeweler, measuring devices. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, I think if you just want to walk up to this thing and start trying to, deactivate it, unplug it, I think it's really uncertain whether or not it will try and defend itself
Oh,
or,
absolutely.
like I think it's
Yeah.
really. I don't think it's because it's on alert right now. It may very well, but
Yeah, I think that what I'd like to do is like speed through, like let's say she waits another 5 minutes and to see if it goes back to attending mode. And then if it
yeah,
doesn't go back to attending mode, that's fine. But she wants to give it a couple of minutes to see if it does. And if it doesn't, then I think the fact that she knows her friends might need help, like our time is up, right?
yeah.
The
I feel
clock.
like you don't have 5 minutes,
Fair.
so I
Okay.
will just give you a devil's bargain. If you don't mind this thing just lashing you and giving you a huge gash across your face, like maybe across a cheek,
Yeah.
that's going to leave a horrible scar, and you're
Yeah.
just kind of willing to get in there, it might do more bad things to you, but like
Right. But it's at least going to do that.
at least going to do that. If you're willing to just get in there and start working, the, even with even though you're like shit, it's got a, and I don't think it's even a blade out right now. I think it's like an arm that
Yeah.
it just has a sharp edge. I don't think it's like in weapons mode right now. But if you're willing to just like get up there, even though it like whips or maybe whips one of those tendrils, those like snaking tendrils,
Yep.
and it like cuts you across
Yeah.
the. Is that cool? Do you
No,
like?
it's great. I love that. I think that Penance plans to wait a few minutes and then like 15 seconds goes by and her heart is pounding and she's sweating and
Exactly.
she's like, I
It
don't have time.
it feels like it's been
It
five
feels like
minutes,
5 minutes.
and
Yeah.
you hear Jessica yell, and
Oh,
it's like you don't know what the heck's going on out there, but it sounds bad. It sounds really bad.
yeah. I think as soon as she hears Jessica yell, she's like unfrozen.
Yeah.
And
And you just walk into this arm knowing it's like you
yep.
kind of try to shield yourself, and like you catch it mostly, and then like the very tip of it cuts right
Yep.
across.
Just cuts. Yeah.
All right. But plus 1D for your
For
tinkering.
Tinker. Okay. I'll take it.
And normally, like if this was an action roll, I'd be like, "Wow, this is super limited effect," because like you have to get in there. Like I'd like make this a clock and make it more involved. But we're doing little vignettes here. We're calling
Yeah.
it short, and we're just gonna say like, yeah, it maybe took a long time. Maybe this would have limited effect. And you have to try multiple times, but we're gonna do one roll, see how it
Let's see how
goes.
it goes.
Let's
Oh my God. Another 5.
nice.
Do you see that? 1, 2, 5.
I am here
Thank
for
goodness
it.
for that devil's bargain.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, right.
Whew.
I think there are two bad consequences to this. I think you
Okay.
do it, but I think two. I mean, because this was probably the most desperate of desperate
For
things.
sure. Yeah.
I think there's three bad consequences to this thing.
Look, I
One,
agreed with you on 2 and see what happens. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. Go ahead.
you damage the sensorium. It can be
Okay.
repaired, but it is damaged because you're rushing, you're pulling, you're
Yep.
yanking, you're ripping, you're
That makes
pulling this
total
thing's heart
sense.
out. You can't do it. You can't do it the way you want to do it, and you just have to start cutting things, and you have to rip it out, and it's damaged. The outer shell, the out like the glassware shell is cracked, and like weird purple pink vapors are kind of oozing out, but
Yeah.
the spirit crystal side is fine. So everything can be repaired. It's just
Okay.
it's pretty badly damaged. It's gonna need serious repair. Two, it does go into self defense mode and impales you. You have a horrible gut wound.
Okay.
awful, bleeding out, very bad
Okay.
gut
It's
wound.
like level 3 harm.
Yeah, it's like level 3 harm. It's going
Okay.
to heal by the time we're in present time,
Right. It'll take 6 years.
but you have a really, really bad, gnarly wound that is
Okay.
going to cause you. You like are going to be stumbling down these stairs.
Yeah.
It's real. It runs one of these like snake like things right through you,
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
and you're bleeding out. You're bleeding very badly.
Okay.
And 3, by the time you get down there, this is a wrestling match. This is a brawl by the end. Like you're in there with tools bending and warping, and it's thrashing, and you're. By the time you get down there, it is a bloody, ugly, messy scene. By the time you get down to you basically crash down the ladder. You can't even really walk down it well. You stumble. You leave this blood smear trail the whole way.
Oof.
Uh, it's just ugly. It's just messy.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and you get down there, and um, Jessica is holding on to this ghost that is like wrapping itself around her and like trying to get to Flem
Angelo.
uh, and Angelo. It's it's almost like a sheet, and like it's spread itself out around her, and it's like she's halfway in and halfway out of the lightning field. Angelo, who's wounded, is like holding up the tower just enough so she can like sort of like reach safely, and she's like trying to use her Sparkcraft gloves
Mm-hmm.
to uh, to destroy this thing, but it's a uh, super powerful ghost that is not easily destroyed. She's like sending all this, you can see like the Sparkcraft on her equipment on her stuff overheating. She's all scuffed up. It looks like she's been holding onto it, and it's literally been just like flapping around like a rag doll. Like as heavy as she is, it's been like smashing her. Like a porch that you were on,
Yeah.
the wooden pillar on the edge of it is she's been smashed through it,
Oh,
and
geez.
like she's bashed into the wall, and shingles have flown off. Some of the words are a little cracked. It's
Uh-oh.
just wrecking her. What do we do? It's a real bad scene when you get down there. It looks like it's gonna murder you all.
What do you want to do? um, I'm definitely going to see if I can use some sort of Sparkcraft bomb situation here,
Sure.
if you'll allow that.
Oh yeah. I mean, anything you want.
And I'm trying to see if I have one that is. You might know this. I'm not trying to put you
Mm-hmm.
on the spot, but I want to see if I have one. Yes. Can oh, it might be too high tier. I want something that is going to distract the ghost. It doesn't need to harm it necessarily, but I'd like some sort of, like, not a flash bomb, but I'd like something that is going to upset the ghost in hopes that it's going
Mm-hmm.
to let Jessica go and we can at least get, like, I don't know how much time. You know what I mean? Like a couple of
Mm-hmm.
seconds, a second
Mm-hmm.
to, like,
So things feral ghosts like this like. Oh, worth noting. We're not spending stress right now, but
right.
when you encounter a ghost like this, um, the air chills around you, the windows frost over, the hairs on the back of your neck go up, and the first thing that happens is you are literally just frozen with fear. Like
Makes
your
sense.
body stops. Your body's like, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope, this is not a thing that should happen. And normally in a case like this, I'd be like, you have two choices, or three choices. You can freeze with fear, you can
Yeah.
run screaming, or you can make a resolve resistance roll to keep regain your composure. Again, we're not doing resistance rolls, but normally that's what I would call for here, to take any
Sure.
kind of constructive, not just runaway action. Now, runaway home would be actually a constructive action, but it would leave all
Yeah.
your friends in the dirt. So, yeah. So, assuming you have like taken the moment to regain your composure of like, what is this horror? What is this sheet-like enveloping,
Oof.
misty thing that doesn't seem maybe it has a face, maybe it has a few faces, maybe it's a couple
Yeah.
people and all of their ancient years of disputes and bickering and hatred all wrapped up into one vessel that doesn't even know what it wants, but it knows what it hates,
Yeah.
which is you.
Which is us. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. So sure, yeah. Let's do the thing.
Oof. Okay. Okay.
I feel like anything that is not going to harm it, like, is not going to really wreck it. It's going to have pretty limited effect. Again, we're not playing with effect, but that's in my
Right.
mind. Best case scenario is a momentary distraction. Is a you get it,
Yeah.
you get Jessica free of it for a second, and that's
Yeah.
it. You know.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think I have anything that would. I was looking through my wrecking tools. I don't think I have anything that would like wreck it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Let me think about. I think. I think if you go to Angelo's, if you grab Angelo's rifle off the ground,
mhm.
he has one more electroplasmic round in there
Oh,
that
perfect.
you could use. I mean, you'd be firing. It wouldn't be as like plant a bomb kind of thing, but it would be faster if you wanted to damage it in some way.
Let's do that.
I know it's desperate as all hell, but like, yeah, you could harm it in that way, and I think that would be
Yeah, I like the idea that like after again, however many seconds, 1, 5, whatever it is, that Penance is just like frozen in horror at
yeah,
at the sight of what's happening and like woozy from all the blood loss. I think that she goes to reach like into her coat to pull out a bomb in hope, like a little bomb, in hopes of distracting it. And it's so desperate because she doesn't know what else to do or what she's going to do, even if this works, right? Because she can't
right.
drag everyone away. She can't hold both. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
and then she,
those batons are these
the
big heavy things. You're
batons,
like, I can't.
right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just going to hold like as far apart as she can, spread her arms,
yeah.
and then carry everyone. So I think she's just like
I mean,
very desperate.
another idea, just throw this out there. Like, just trying to think about things that would like actually hurt this thing. Is you
Yeah.
could like pick up the baton that's like held in the ground right now and like try and like ram it into this thing, right? Like it's a lightning baton. It's carrying all this energy
Yeah.
that is harmful to the ghost too. Like you could that might hit Jessica. Lightning is not good for anybody, ghosts or living. But that's another thought. Is like if you want a thing that would like mess it up, like you have these batons and they're arcing the lightning from the lightning towers here. Like they're both pretty serious threats to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think either of those would work if either of those sounds cool to you.
Yeah. No, I think that she sees, I think that first attempt was going to be to distract it because again, she's just so desperate. And even though she
Yeah,
can move, the horror's still there, right? Like
yeah.
this is still pretty scary.
I'm
She's
even
just
happy to
able to
say
move.
you do it. You throw the bomb out there, it flares, and it just isn't enough. Like it works, but
Yeah.
it's just this thing is you're like, ugh, and you have to do more.
And
Like
now what, right?
right.
I'm gonna
It's
say
something
she
where I'd be
goes for his
like, oh,
gun.
it was like risky zero effect. Like yeah,
Yeah,
you could do it,
exactly.
but like yeah,
Yeah, it makes total sense too that she would do that. But then I think she sees Angelo's gun. So I'm gonna go for that first.
yeah.
Um, because I think she also is thinking like, how are we gonna get out of here?
How are you gonna get out of there?
How are we gonna get out of here?
You got to
So
carry these batons. Do you leave them behind and run? Yeah,
right,
it's all ugly, and
right.
I think this is the yeah. So hunt skirmish. What do you feel like? What are you feeling right now?
Well, both have 0.
Oh, zero's cool.
I'm gonna say, let's see, hunt, gather. I'm definitely not gathering any sort of information. I am. Oh, it's skirmish.
Yeah,
It's skirmish. Yeah. So I'm just gonna roll.
can't go wrong.
You can't. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
A 2.
this is your first two. I think you've gotten all fours fives as for the most part fours fives.
I started off strong with a 6,
Yep.
And then I just went down mildly to a 5. I was happy with 5s. And then now that it really counts, here I
Yeah.
am with a 2. All
So
right.
I have, uh, I feel like this is the end. This is the final shot of the
Yeah.
score. And what I propose to you, and I am super open to, is this is the time where we see Jessica maybe show her true colors, or maybe just have to make a really hard decision. And it's
Mhm.
really like, who knows? But Penance is abandoned and left out in the Deathlands. You go
Yes,
out
she
there,
is.
you fire the shot, and we can make Jessica seem as sympathetic or unsympathetic as you like. But at the end of the day, she's like, really, you had to go out under the lightning field to like fire the shot, right?
Yeah.
And I think you shoot it and piss it off and hurt it, and the only way to do is run into the house that is warded, and um, and they bail and they leave you behind. And so some thoughts, yeah, again, maybe it looks like Penance was just like didn't care, or maybe it looks like it was a really, or not Penance, Jessica. Maybe she didn't care, or maybe she is broke her heart. Like I think that's we should discuss that, and then
Yeah.
also um, who else made it, because I kind of don't think everyone else made it as well. Like everyone is
Yeah.
messed up right now. Obviously, Jessica makes it.
Right.
Obviously,
Jessica has
you
to make it.
eventually make it. But I
Right.
think Jessica takes the sensorium all busted up and gets the hell out of there. And
Oh, and
lightning
she
batons
takes
be
it.
damned. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously she
Of
takes it.
course she does. Of course she does. I think she I think she takes like a split second to look between Angelo and Flem and takes Angelo because he's less hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I think.
yeah. And does Flem die because you I don't feel like this is penance, but I just want to open up there. Does Flem
Yeah.
die because you leave him as bait to get away, or is Flem just die because of the circumstance of like he has the one lightning baton that's left,
Yeah.
and eventually at some point that pen tool goes from a column to, that don't cross the lines. Eventually that one tool, as they're making the triangle smaller, like it goes from a long thin rectangle to a triangle that gets narrower and narrower and narrower. So does Flem eventually just get like caught in the cross lines when they get to nose, or does he get devoured by the ghost, or like
Oh my
what
god.
is the I don't think Flem makes it. I
He
think.
doesn't make it. He doesn't make
Yeah.
it. You're right. And um I think that Penance goes like once Jessica leaves, like is leaving.
Yeah.
I think Penance goes towards him to help him and he sees that it's not, you know what I mean? Like there's no chance for
Yeah.
him. And so I think he looks at her and their eyes meet and he shakes his head.
Yeah.
And then I think it cuts just to like Penance's face and she just bursts into
Yeah.
tears.
And knowing what I know about the way Penance feels about Jessica right now and the Archbenders in general, I
Yeah.
want to say that she really feels like Flem was staying out there, and then Jessica and Angela just totally abandoned her. Like,
Yeah.
does that? Because I'm trying to think. Like, fast forward to 6 years later, where you hate them. Like, in this
Right.
moment, I think Flem stayed to help try and, or he was too injured, whatever the case is. But like, I feel like you had this moment of like, we got each other, and then he wards you off, and like a moment later the two lightning arcs cross over him,
Yeah.
and he's just vaporized.
Yeah.
He's just dust, and all you can do is just, with this horrible gut wound and this slash across your face and nothing else, you scramble back into the house that
Yeah.
is warded from this thing. And
Can we say because
who knows?
Jessica Jessica and Angelo are still like they have to run, right? So they're still
Oh
running.
yeah, they're hauling ass. Yeah.
I really like the idea that like the camera pulls out so that we can see Jessica and Angelo running and we can see Penance standing here. And I think Penance just lets out like this gut wrenching scream and then like crawls back into the house because she's got to figure out how to stitch herself up now.
Yep.
Poor Penance.
Poor Penance.
Ah, the
I knew,
damage.
yeah, I knew it was a very dangerous score. I was like, there's lots of opportunities for Penance to get really
Yes.
hosed, but for no even in malicious reason, just because what you guys are doing is so
Yeah.
brutally dangerous.
Yeah.
Groovy. I think that is the penance score, the penance and the arc benders.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of late. Do you want to wrap up, or do you want to do a break and then we come back and do a little Onk vignette? And we don't have to do like a whole Onk score. We could do just like a little bit. What feels good to you time wise?
Yeah. Do you want to hang out for like another? I know we've said we were going to end at 9. Do you want to hang out for like another half an hour and do a little bit more? Because I want to at least see Ankh for a little bit. This has been way too penance heavy.
I mean, I love it. I'm good for it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's